Yes, I made a console game, literally a console game. It just opens a console and you play it. Here's how it works. You have a map where you walk around, fight enemies and collect treasures. As you level up you get stronger and eventually you reach level 5 and that's when the console closes. That's it, you've won.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Now let's get into the guts and see how this piece of this marvel of software engineering really works. But first we gotta understand something. Object-oriented programming. Don't even think about clicking off. I made this explanation funny, with memes and relatable, and also family friendly, so don't you dare. Alright, if you already know anything about C# or any other programming language, I'm so sorry, you can skip this part, but the rest of y'all, you stay. So I'll explain it as I see it. Let's imagine you're in a town square, an execution square to be more precise. That's like the main part of the town, where everything, or everyone, gets executed. And let's say we have two people there, in this order. First is Bob, second is Dave. So they get executed accordingly. Then we have another execution of, let's say, a whole house. Then we have its address. So the executioner goes to the said house and goes through Alice, Bill, Steve, in the order that is set in the execution papers. Then next on the list is a basement of this same house. So he goes to the basement and takes out Dylan and Finn. Then the executioner goes back to the square and continues to go through the rest of the list until there is another order to go back to the first house and repeat the execution. Then back to the square, then another house, then a basement of the fourth house, then a square again, and so on. So, what can we take away from this? That I'm really bad at explaining stuff. What else? That YouTube is gonna shadowban the hell out of this family-friendly video. But what's the most important thing? That we have the main place where all the orders are executed. It's like a big box full of other smaller boxes inside, and we unbox them in a certain order. I should have made this comparison earlier instead of the execution square, but to be fair, it's more vivid.
Very poor choice of words.
Anyway, I hope you get it now. So I will simply visualize the game here in Photoshop on the right, and you will also see the code on the left. Here's the main part where, oh lord, it's a mess. Okay, first we have an address to the map rendering function. We execute it first and it creates the map in the system. Next we set the player's level, money, health and where he stands on the map. Now all that is set aside because next we have the main body of the game that iterates over and over again until the player is no more or he wins. First we render the map with this function. We basically store the coordinates of all the entities on the map and the console writes them every step. Literally, we move somewhere and it renders everything again. Then we have the movement, which calculates the player's coordinates when you press WAS or D. Okay, enough with the boring stuff. Next we check if we have stepped into an enemy, and based on the level we subtract a certain amount of HP, and if the fight is won, we add a level to our player. Then we check if we have stepped into a treasure, and if yes, we add some coins and some levels to the player. Next we handle the win and lose conditions. Less than 0 health, you lose, more than 5 levels, you win. And finally, we check if our map has any items or entities on it beside the player. If there is nothing left, we regenerate the map. And that's how it works. If you just happen to want to play this game, you can download it using the link down below. No viruses there. This time. Pinky promise. There is also a link to the source code which you can use for studying different functions in the game or the game itself. I mean, if there is anything worth studying, you know? Or you can modify it, I don't know, go nuts.